Brandon Delsid is a multi-talented performer. Recently, he was on the final season of NBC's New Amsterdam and Amazon Prime's The Date Whisperer. Prior to the pandemic, he originated the role of Raj in the off-Broadway production of The Big Bang Theory musical. He received the 2023 Diversity Scholarships from both Anthony Meindl Studios and the prestigious Groundlings School. He will be seen next starring in Amazon Prime's This Is Me Now, a musical film alongside Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. Let's take a look at some of his work.
Help. I need a dress and a gift for my friend's wedding.
Tell me more. Don't you just love wedding season?
Whoa, you're an actual person.
Last time I checked. So, what are we working with?
I cannot believe I left West Hollywood for this. I am running out of SPF and I am not happy. Well, then buy some more. It is so hot. Okay, my cheeks are sticking to the seat of this Barbie mobile. This is not the dream getaway I was hoping for.
Oh, let me guess. You were hoping for fruity cocktails and fabulous decor just waiting for you out here in the middle of the desert.
Yes.
Look.
Babe.
Yeah?
Babe.
Yes.
Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
Are we going to...
We're going.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know what they say about me. About hopeless romantics. That we're weak. And I'm not weak. What are you guys doing here?
We think you might be a sex addict.
Every time I see you. What?
Maybe.
I'm still in love with you, boy. Third time's the charm?
This guy don't stand a chance.
Whenever someone asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, my answer was always in love.
You must respect the ebb and flow of the universe.
Wow. Brandon, come on in.
Hello, Amber!
Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, what a great film there of all of your clips. So tell me something about some of the things we saw there.
Oh my gosh, I know. I feel like that was almost like a showing at a funeral. Like all the different things that I've done so far. I was like, wow. I hadn't seen some of those in a while, so it was neat to watch back. Well, the first one was, I think, an Amazon commercial that I got to do a couple years ago. That was kind of neat. I mean, I feel like that started the trajectory of me playing the gay best friend. And it was kind of a neat beginning. I mean, Amazon, it's kind of crazy that that happened about 2 years ago in full circle. This Is Me Now will be coming out on Amazon Prime on February 16th.
Yes.
So who would have guessed way back then, you know?
February 16th, which will be yesterday when this airs. So it's available now for people to watch it on Amazon Prime. We'll talk more about that later. How about the Trixie Mattel Motel? Tell us about that.
I'm obsessed with her, and I can't say... I mean, I've gotten to work with two of the great divas of our time. Jennifer Lopez, Trixie Mattel. It doesn't get better. There's no bigger. What to do next? She was freaking fabulous. So fabulous. We shot that here in Los Angeles, and then we shot it a little bit in Palm Springs also, and it was just amazing. I mean, Trixie was so dynamite. They both were just so down to earth and everything, but Trixie was really special. I mean, I was freaking out for days with that one, for sure.
Isn't that great to hear that people of that stature are just nice people?
Yes, yes. I mean, and personable and kind and you know, have such an attention to detail, and it kind of, you know, it was like a masterclass for me. I mean, each one of those projects, you know, I try to be hungry to learn, hungry to grow, and when you're around people like that, you can't help but kind of like glean off of them a little bit what they know, you know. But Trixie is such an icon. I'm obsessed with her.
So how did you get there? Where did it all start, Brandon?
Wow. Well, I think it all started, as it does for most young queer boys, at a production of Oliver the Musical when I was 9 years old. And my grandma took me, and she's my best friend still. We still have wine nights. I wish she was here right now. She'd love you. Um, she got me into theater. And it happened, I'm 29, and it was 20 years ago. When I was 9 years old, I saw my first production. And I just was hooked. I was obsessed. I was like, the costumes, the lights, the glamour, the clapping, the everything. And, I never strayed. I just found my love, and I kind of held on tight. And it's been the wildest ride.
Tell me some more steps between Oliver and today.
Yeah, well, I really, really kind of just dived into musical theater, which was kind of my first love. And I think that's part of what has been so special about This Is Me Now is it's a modern musical. And I really think it's going to like redefine the modern musical for the world. I think it's going to kind of have a really new edge to what a musical can be and how what's possible. But I did a ton of musical theater, and I feel like it was the best training ground, Amber, because it was just like you get such a discipline when you're doing community theater. And I grew up doing children's musical theater works, and then Good Company Players were two really big theater companies in my hometown. And, like Audra McDonald grew up training there, and Chris Colfer, and a bunch of really other powerhouse performers. And yeah, I really look back now and I'm like, gosh, it all happened then. It was like the small, quiet moments, just going to rehearsal, performing in a show, 5-6 weekends in a row, where you kind of get that discipline and appreciation for the art, So continued with that, and then did some musical theater, did a little Off-Broadway in New York City prior to the pandemic. I did the Big Bang Theory, the musical.
Yeah, let's flesh that out a little bit. Where did that come from, and how did it go?
Big Bang Theory. Well, it sort of feels like it might have been a fever dream now when I really think back. I'm not really sure if it happened, but, I had such a blast. I met some of my closest friends. I think that's, one of the best parts of being an artist is getting to explore yourself, but also the community you make, and I felt like I really made lifelong friends, specifically in that show. We were at the Bernstein Theatre, right across from the Winter Garden Theater. And I would pinch myself. We performed for about 7 or 8 months, and I would pinch myself getting off the subway at 50th Street and think, oh my gosh, like I'm a little gay boy from Fresno, and I'm working and thriving in New York City, and I get to come here for work every day. I get to come to Times Square.
That's
the name. Just everything.
That's the name of your autobiography, "Little Gay Boy from Fresno." That's
yes. Can we copyright that? Can we get Russell on that? Can we get that copyright?
What were some of your favorite roles in the musical theater?
Well, I really loved. There were several. One that stands out, and it's actually on Broadway right now, is I played Prince Herbert in Spamalot. I don't know if you've seen Spamalot,
Yes.
But he's the sort of flamboyant prince at the end who gets his Prince Charming, Sir Lancelot. And, it was probably my favorite. I feel like it was life imitating art. It was just very, a really special role. And I loved my cast. And I feel like that was part of, a time in my life where I realized, wow, like there's a lot of queer roles out there. And I feel like when I was growing up, it was slowly happening. And I feel like I have so many queer pioneers before me to thank for that. But to be in a world now where I'm in a movie with Jennifer Lopez and I get to play her gay best friend, I know maybe it wasn't always like that, and so it's cool,
Tell me about some of those legends you talked about there that inspired you, or the gay legends that were there.
Yeah, there's so many people that I look back on. Nathan Lane is a really powerful one for me that I've always, Harvey Fierstein. And then, of course, the great drag queens also. Just like bow down to all of them, it's a form of art. And I feel like I really appreciate in this film, and This Is Me Now, which is out now everywhere. My character really gets to explore with like gender fluidity. and makeup and fashion, and kind of gets to blur the lines between that. And I like to think in my life I like to do that as well. And I just feel like it was really freeing. And growing up, in Fresno, it was not always easy. I think there was no. Oh my gosh, Google it. It's a wonderful town. But I feel like I kind of grew up, even in community theater, thinking, okay, you've got to be able to play everything. You got to be able to play all these roles. And as I got older, I was like, no, I really need to bring me. And that's the special thing, and the right things will come along, the right roles. And thank God they have. And hopefully they'll keep coming. But I think it was a practice in embracing myself to get to this point. It really took completely being okay with all parts of me and celebrating that and finding the right people who would too.
You've mentioned your love and admiration of drag queens. Have you ever performed in drag?
I've had a moment or two in the sun, Amber. I haven't gotten to go, as full glam as I would like to go, maybe. But I will say in this film, I go pretty drag. I go pretty close to drag, as I have before. And it was so fabulous to get to see. I mean, the costuming for this film is like out of this world fabulousness. And they really kind of, I was saying this in another interview, they really let me kind of have a voice for what I wanted to wear and what I was kind of drawn to. And it's not always like that, in the film industry. And so I really feel like the fashion and the glam and the makeup is really going to, I think it's going to be a really cool queer representation in the film that people don't get to see all the time.
Do you have an imaginary drag name?
Oh my gosh, I don't know, Amber. I feel like we might need to come up with one before the episode's over. 2-liter Pepsi?
I like that.
Is a backup. If we can't.
Very good. All right, we're going to take a little break here right now, Brandon, for some causes, and we'll be right back to talk to more about that film coming up on Amazon Prime.
Love it.
All right, we're back with Brandon Delsid, and we want to talk more about This Is Me Now, the film that's available right now on Amazon Prime. How did you get involved? Who called you, and did you audition? Tell me that process.
Yeah, well, we shot it about over a year ago now, which is so crazy, Amber. And, it was a self-tape process, auditioning through self-tapes. And I remember I was sick the week that I got the audition. I was probably the sickest I've been in like years. And I normally, would go work with an acting coach or other things. And I told my boyfriend, I said, you're up. You're playing Jennifer in the scene. I need you, and I need you ready, and I need you hot. And he did it with me. And we just had a great time. And, looking back, I think it was kind of nice doing it at home. I got to kind of make it more personal, and add a little bit more touches of me. And then, a couple of weeks went by and I eventually heard, and I got a call when I was actually in Rome for my boyfriend's birthday. We had never gone before, but we saved all of our pennies to go. And I got a call that I was on hold for it. And they said, don't leave the country and don't cut your hair. And I was thinking, I think I've done both of those things in the last 48 hours. But then I got back, of course, and the rest was history.
Now, auditioning by tape, is that what's going to happen from now on? Is it no in-person?
So, it's kind of the new frontier. And, I think it's really powerful because it kind of cuts through some of the process a little bit. It seems to expedite it. And, it's fun for me. I kind of love being able to make it at home and create the space the way I want it. And like I said before, make it more personal. But it's definitely the new frontier.
Where were you when you got the call saying you got it?
I was here in this living room. I remember it like it was yesterday. And my agent called me, and it was like 9:00 at night. So I knew it was either really good news or really bad news. And I just started crying, and I freaked out, and my boyfriend ran and grabbed a bottle of champagne, and we just sat, and it felt like one of those core moments, that I think I'll remember for the rest of my life. And it was nuts too, because they said, you've got it, and it starts in 5 days. Yeah.
Were you there in LA at the time?
I was, yeah. Yeah, I was here in Los Angeles, so I texted my facialist and I said, "How quick can you get me in?"
A facialist. Okay.
So you got to get ready. If I'm going to be up there with her, got to get it together.
Did you meet Jennifer that first day?
We did. Yes.
Tell me
Yes. The
about
very
that.
first.
Did she walk in the room or did you walk in the room? What was she wearing? What was your first impression?
We were in one of the sound stages and we were all ready to go for our first scene. And she walked in and it was just like, whoosh, like, such an amazing energy, such a presence. And everybody just kind of flipped. It was one of those like moments, and she looked so fabulous.
Okay.
She had this beautiful big coat on and she came up to us and she introduced herself to each of us. She said, "Hi, I'm Jen." And it just, from there on, it was such an honor to work with her. She was so kind, so personable, and she was really there to play. She really was just there to have a good time and make something special. And I felt so free to be able to do that with her. And she just set the best tone from beginning to end.
And Ben, how was he involved? Ben Affleck.
He was amazing. Yeah, I know it's been announced. Yeah, he is in it, and he did get to help, I think, with the writing process of it and kind of putting it together. And it was such a labor of love for them, and I just really feel like it's going to blow out of this world when it comes out. Well, it's out now, so people are going to love it. But they made something so unique and special, and I've never seen anything like it in my life. I think it's such a testament to them and their talent and their artistry. I mean, they helped write it, so it's literally from them, as deep as it could be.
What are you working on now, or what's your next project?
I have a couple things coming out. I'm doing a campaign with CeraVe, which I'm really excited about, and that'll come out. CeraVe, like the skincare brand and lotions and everything. It's coming out later this year, and so that's going to be really exciting. I can't say too much about that yet, but that'll be out soon before the second half of the year. And we're just really excited to celebrate This Is Me Now and kind of all that's come with it, and just kind of bask in it. I'm trying to just really enjoy the moment as much as I can.
Well, once people see the film, you're going to get a lot more phone calls for other actions, I'm sure. All right, so Brandon, I know you're not just another pretty face, not just a great actor. You believe in good causes as well. Tell me some of your favorite causes.
Yeah, well, I'm really, really big into LGBTQIA plus rights, and I think that's kind of been one of my biggest passions, and getting out there and really being an advocate specifically for gender fluidity and non-binary talent. And I think I'm really proud of this film specifically because I do feel like I'm getting to represent a demographic that you don't always see on screen, and I think it's been a journey for me to come into my own skin in that way, the gender fluidity of myself and being able to, be comfortable with all of that. And that was such a process growing up in Fresno, and really finding myself. And so, I'm looking for work and scripts that create spaces for people, I think is one of my biggest passions in my art. And this was such a manifestation and a dream come true. This Is Me Now, because it really allowed me to spread my wings and feel even more comfortable in my skin. And I hope for anybody who sees it, they get that too. I think it's been, announced that Kim Petras is also in it, and she's also, such a fervent LGBTQIA plus advocate. And so to kind of be the two queer characters in it is really cool. And hopefully, it's going to reach people all over the world.
It seemed to have slowed down a little bit, the anti-drag queen, the anti-drag queen story hour. We did several shows talking to drag queens and law and politicians from all over the country about it. Have you ever had any pushback from being an openly gay man?
Yes. Yeah. I remember even growing up in Fresno in a community theater situation where I, had my best friend Frankie, who was also gay, and we were like thick as thieves. And I remember a director pulling me aside and said, "Don't spend so much time with Frankie. You know, you might pick up some of these mannerisms, or you might pick up some of this flamboyance and stuff like that." And I was thinking, that ship sailed about 5 years ago, sir. And, you know, situations like that have come up over time. But I think, you know, I really have to give my family a lot of credit. Though, you know, it was, I think, difficult in the beginning. I've always felt great acceptance from them, you know, and the ability to explore. But yeah, I think it's obviously, like you said, the drag queen stuff was so upsetting and so out of nowhere. And it felt pointless, and it felt like just something to pick at when it was so unnecessary. And I'm just so happy, like you said, I think the tide is turning, and I hope we just go more and more in that direction. And I think that's why it's so important to vote and to get out there and vote for your issues and for LGBTQIA plus rights and people who are completely in support of that. That is a superpower we have, is to vote and to get out there and to support.
I'm the founder of the League of Drag Queen Voters, and our motto is "Don't blow it, vote." And so it's very important to do that. Brandon Delsid, thank you so much. Everyone, get on Amazon Prime right now and check out This Is Me Now and watch it again and again and again. I can't wait. Thank you so much, Brandon.
Thank you, Amber. Mwah.